Welcome to this video, in which you will learn about reception of light and health. The lighting quality of a space is determined by the interplay between the sources of light, indoors and outdoors, the distribution of light in that space through geometry and materials used, and the way light is received and interpreted by the receiver. Let's start with the receiver. As receiver, we have our eyes to see. Light enters the eye via the opening in the iris, the pupil, continues through the lens and the jelly bodies before and after the lens, the vitreous body, which absorb part of the light, while the rest of the light falls on the light-sensitive layer, the retina. A part of the retina, the fovea, is most sensitive to light, while the blind spot corresponds to the region where the optic nerve fibers leave the eye to transfer the information to the brain, where this is interpreted. In the retina, but mostly in the fovea, we can find the light-sensitive cells, the rods and the cones, of which the cones, we have three types, are sensitive to colors, while the rods give only achromatic or colorless vision. Now, not so long ago, a third type of light-sensitive cell was found. These cells are distributed between the rods and the cones in the so-called ganglion cells. They produce the chemical melanopsin, which plays a role in the control of the size of the pupil, opening and the biological clock, via influencing the production of the hormone melatonin by the pineal body, for which the hypothalamus is responsible. So, the third light-sensitive cells can also receive light, even though they are not used to see something. The so-called non-visual effects of light on our biological clock are partly their responsibility. How do they influence our biological clock? Under the influence of light, the hypothalamus signals to the pineal body to produce melatonin, a hormone that makes us want to sleep. If exposed to light during the night, for example, during a night shift, the production of the antioxidant melatonin is immediately stopped. Alertness and core body temperature is increased, and sleep is distorted. Some years ago, the Dutch Health Council reported that studies have shown that working night shifts increases the risk for heart and vascular disease and diabetes type 2. Diseases and disorders of the eye can have several origins. They can be, among others, caused by genetics in your genes, or a result of aging, or caused by external factors. Color blindness, primarily a genetic-originated disorder, is the inability to perceive differences between some or all colors. The most common form is the inability to discriminate reds, yellows, and greens from each other. Complete color blindness, only seeing black, gray, and white, is not very common. With age, several of the eye's functions begin to deteriorate. The extent to which the pupil dilates, for example, decreases with age. And because of the smaller pupil size, older eyes receive much less light at the retina and therefore need extra light when performing a detailed task. Dry eyes, a common complaint of people indoors, is a medical condition in which the eye fails to produce tears or has an increased tear film evaporation. The most common cause of dry eyes is aging, but it can also be caused by thermal or chemical burns, or, in epidemic cases, by adenoviruses. What should be noted is that the dry eyes people often complain about indoors is rarely related to relative humidity, but has been found to be related to pollutants in the air that cause irritation, draft, and also bad lighting. In the next video, you will hear all about what bad lighting entails. So to summarize this video, the light received by our eyes is fundamental for seeing the environment around us, visual effects of light, but also for the so-called non-visual effects. Bad or insufficient reception of light is related to several diseases and disorders.